All right, so today is Friday, the 19th of December 2025. We're having our money analysis. Now, today we have some events. Many of them are, you know, medium impact events, except for the one from the United Kingdom, the retail sales by 8 a.m., which is just 7 minutes from now. That's a high impact event. By 2:30 p.m., there will be core retail sales and retail sales from Canada, and 4 p.m. there'll be existing home sales and revised UOM sentiment. Now, since these are two medium impact events for Canada, it may lead to volatility if the outcome is in the same direction. That is, if both of them is an actual greater than forecast, combined together could lead to volatility. Same thing, on the USD. But we'll look at that shortly. We'll look at how this currency pairs will react to this event. Let me just quickly go to the charts to look at what we're expecting. Now, for the GBP USD, which is coming up some minutes from now, I'm looking at, sorry, for the pound, rather, the pound event that's coming shortly. I'm looking at the GBP USD. Now, GBP USD recently hit a resistance zone on the daily time frame. And yesterday, in fact, for some days now, price has been ranging around this resistance zone. Good morning, Madam Onaji, and to everyone. So price has been ranging around this resistance zone, and even yesterday still closed as a rejection candle. That tells us that this resistance zone is really holding, and if the news comes out bad for the pound, technically with price ranging around that resistance zone, we're expecting a downward movement. So if the news comes out bad for the British pound, you may look at selling the GBP USD. So I'm bearish on the GBP USD. So if by 8 o'clock the actual comes out less than forecast, we may look at taking a sell on the GBP USD. That's exactly 5 minutes away from now. And for the Euro CHF, now this setup, I've been watching it for close to a week now. Um, though at this period, volatility is actually dropping generally the market. I want us to take note of that. Volatility is reducing. Usually volatility drops from the second week in December till the second week in January. So you may not see so much activity as before. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't trade at all, but it means you should trade with a lot of caution. Now, for Euro CHF, price has been on a downtrend on the weekly time frame for quite a while. So that's an overall bearish movement, and we expect, a further bearish continuation. And that also simultaneously, we also have a resistance. So we have a descending trend line and a resistance. That's a confirmation of a bearish movement on the Euro CHF. And like I always say, this is the highest probability trade I do see with my strategy. And on the daily, we don't see much clarity on the daily, but on the 4-hour time frame, I'm seeing a rising wedge and a head and shoulder pattern. Price is currently at the neckline. If a new candle breaks out below this level, we should, let me use the word we should, because like I said, volatility is low now in the market. If a new candle breaks out below this neckline, which is our rectangle box, we should see a bearish movement. RSI is already below 50. MACD is already below 0. So I'll tell you that I'm bearish on the Euro CHF. So I'm bearish on the on Euro CHF. I'm bearish on GBP USD. Now, there's news coming from Canada and United States this afternoon, and I'll be looking at the USD card. Now, for the USD card, on the daily time frame, price recently hit a support zone for USD card. We have a valid support, 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 and some days ago, price hit that level again. So we have a valid support zone. So technically, we should be looking for an uptrend. And we also have a falling wedge pattern around that support zone. If you take it to the 4-hour here, we can see the falling wedge, and we can see the formation of an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which will trigger an uptrend. So there's a neckline, that area I mark with a rectangle is the neckline region. So if a new candle breaks out above that neckline region, you can trigger a buy on the on the USD card. RSI is already above 50. MACD is about to cross above 0. So in the news in the afternoon, if the data comes out, you know, if it comes out bad, if you end up seeing a red for, if you see a green for the USD, okay, we should start with the card because that's the first one. If you see a red for the card and a green for the USD, then you are buying the USD card. It will start with the card by 2:30 p.m. If you see a red for the card by 2:30 p.m., you can buy the USD card. It's almost time for the GBP USD. Now, as usual, Forest Factory will take its time. Okay, I'm not seeing much activity on the chart. It doesn't look like the news is carrying much effect. I don't think the news is having any serious effect, so we may just have to move on and wait for the technicals. All right, I'm not seeing any effect. But then, for this now, for those who are swing traders, if a new candle breaks out below this lower trend line, we're expecting a downward movement. And don't forget, we're actually bullish on the dollar, on the USD card. So it's right to have a bearish movement on the GBP USD. So we still, whether technical or fundamental, will remain bearish for GBP on the GBP USD. But I believe the market will react better to the USD card in the afternoon. Okay, the data. Okay, let's go back to the chart. The data actually came out bad for the British pound. It came out bad, but then you can see there's no serious volatility. That means the impact of the news is very, very little. It came out bad. It came out exactly with analysis. I said it that I'm expecting data to be bad for the British pound. So the analysis is not a problem, but there is no sufficient push. And I've told you earlier that in this period, trade precaution, volatility is really dropping fast in the market. It happens every year from the second week in December till the second week in January. So we may need to wait for the technicals on this to break out. So anytime it breaks out technically, you may take a sell. For those that are just joining us, I've analyzed the Euro CHF. I said I'm bearish on the Euro CHF on 4 hour. I'm expecting a breakout once a new candle opens below. They're right there. I'm bearish on the GBP USD on 4 hour. And I also said I'm bullish on USD card on 4 hour. But this USD card, you need to wait for the news from Canada in the afternoon. Anytime you see a new candle break out above this neckline region, you can trigger a buy on the USD card. All right, so the last instrument I'll be looking at will be gold. So gold has been doing a lot of funny things lately, and eventually it was able to hit the resistance zone yesterday. We have a valid resistance a valid resistance. It hit the resistance zone with a rejection candle, and a red rejection candle for that matter. So there's every tendency that gold might drop. There's a very high probability we should get ready for a bearish breakout on gold. We also have a rising wedge. This is still the rejection candle, very, very valid, even on 4 hours. So we're going to be expecting a breakout. Please, when I draw these lines, I'm not saying that is alpha is going to go. I'm only showing you direction. So please take note. All right. Now, for gold, even though we're expecting a bearish breakout, there's a tendency for price to react when it gets to this particular level. We have higher lows, and there's a tendency for another higher low here. So price may drop here and go back to retest the resistance. It's very possible. So what part of this are we trading? We'll go down to 1 hour again, and we're going to be trading just this breakout from below that point up to this place. That's what we're trading. So you need to watch gold closing the course of today. If gold breaks out below this support zone, then target the next support zone. That's just all we're trading for gold. So we're bearish on gold. All right, so that's going to be all from me this morning. If you have any question, you can go ahead and post as we begin to round up. So as a final review, we're bearish on Euro CHF, we're bearish on GBP USD, we're bearish on gold, and we're bullish on the USD card. 4 instruments we're watching today. All right, GBP JPY. All right, so for GBP JPY, price is back to the resistance level on the daily time frame. And yesterday closed as a rejection candle. Technically, we'll be looking for a downward movement, but then let's just go to the lower time frame to confirm that. Okay, on the 4 hour, we have a rejection candle forming. Now, this rejection candle is still in formation. It should become effective at the close of this 4 hour candle. So if by 10 or I think 11 a.m., if this candle closes as a rejection candle as I've seen it, then that is an indication that we should get ready for a reversal. If however it breaks out as a full candle above this level, well, that means the resistance has been broken. But if it maintains this rejection by the close of the candle, then we'll be expecting a reversal. So we can still move down to 1 hour to look out for. You can see even on 1 hour, it's still giving us that sharp rejection. So I think we should just generally look out for a reversal on the GBP JPY. So this is 1 hour time frame. I will just draw my trend line. We still have the valid resistance even on 1 hour. So we're going to be anticipating a breakout to the downside on this instrument. And if you look at this critically also, it's giving us a look of a head and shoulder pattern. So we'll be anticipating a breakout. So if price breaks out below this trend line, then we expect a further bearish breakout. Your confirmation is RSI below 50 and possibly your MACD below 0. It gives more validity to it. So we're bearish on the GBP JPY. BTC gold. I already analyzed gold. I said we're bearish on gold. on 1 hour. BTC. Okay, so let's check BTC. You're welcome, Maureen. Okay, so BTC has done, from my analysis, has done a major bearish movement, which I analyzed earlier. An overall downtrend and a rising wedge. That has happened. We've seen some slight bearish movement. So what's the next move on BTC? This is a support zone. That's on the daily. Let's check out the weekly. That's not too clear, but let's stay with the daily for now. So we have a support zone on the daily. Actually, this is looking like it's trying to form some kind of a double bottom pattern. That's the closest I can, you know, analyze this to be. 4 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. Okay. So we're waiting for a breakout to the upside on this one. If price is able to break out above that trend line, we'll see an upward movement on the BTC USD. So I'll say I'm bullish on the BTC USD. But I think this is clear on 4 hour. It's looking somewhere on that 1 hour. I think we should take it more from the 4 hour angle. We should look at it more from the 4 hour. We're waiting for a breakout to the upside here. Confirmation is RSI below 50. Now RSI is at 52, but that's not too strong enough. MACD also should possibly cross above zero. But at least the first things first is that price should break out to the upside, clearly above, way above 50 to like, as in with RSI clearly above 50. 52 is too close. Maybe on 55 upwards. And don't forget there's a minor resistance there also that price needs to break. So we are bullish on the BTC, but it's on 4 hour. Then US oil. Now US oil is in between buy and sell. It's in between a buy and a sell. That's the truth about it. And why do I say that? I think I analyzed this instrument a couple of days ago. We're looking at a bullish breakout then, but like I said, volatility is dropping. Market can be funny at this period. On the daily time frame, there is a support zone, and we had a reversal Marubozu over there, which can actually trigger a move to the upside, all things being equal. But instead of breaking out to the upside, we've seen rather some retracement in the last couple of days. Now, if you take it down to the 1 hour time frame, well, it's not okay, let me not use that trend line. It's not really a perfect one. Um, or something I saw earlier. Okay, please let's mute our devices. All right. There is a support here, a support on resistance. Support on resistance. So technically, this should push price down. So if you take it down to 1 hour, I was seeing the formation of a head and shoulder. Now, price is expected to come down. We see in the last few hours today, it has been ranging. Yeah, that does not completely invalidate that, that setup. Let me remove this support zone from the daily because we're not looking at that for now. So in the course of today, if price is able to break below this area, then it will target the next support zone on 1 hour, which is actually still part of the major support zone on the daily. But at least let's look at it on 1 hour for now. So if this is what happens today, yes, we'll have a downward movement. But if on the other side, price is able to break out above the edge of the head and shoulder pattern, then it will be an upside move. But I believe it should first do a downward move before the upside move. So that's why I said it's between a buy and a sell. But I feel the sell will take place first before we actually see the buy. Except there's no volatility in the market, except that. But if there's volatility, price is likely to break to the downside first. So watch out closely for a bearish breakout first. And if price decides to reverse upwards, you are not buying until it breaks out above, the edge. Because at that time also, if you look at it on 1 hour, it will have formed a double bottom pattern, which may trigger an upside move. So we're between a sell first, and if that did not work, it may reverse to be a buy. Okay, AEDJPY, that's the last one I'm looking at.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're
I'm
welcome.
very grateful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so this is AEDJPY on 4-hour time frame. Well, I'm not seeing a resistance around this instrument. On 4-hour, I'm seeing the possibility of this is higher lows, higher lows. I'm seeing the possibility it may continue going higher, but then we need validity for that, not just assumption. Okay, you can see this rejection candle. It tested that trend line. These are lower highs. So this may happen since we have a rejection candle here. Price may retrace a little before breakout. But anytime price breaks out above this region, you may trigger a buy on the on the AUDJPY on 1 hour. So it's still a bullish movement on AUDJPY. All right, so that will be all from my end this morning. Do trade safe. Don't forget to join us by 12:30 for the afternoon session. Do enjoy the day. Bye-bye.